Economic development, an overview. Economic development generally refers to the sustained, concerted actions of policymakers and communities that promote the standard of living and economic health of a specific area. Economic development may be defined as a selective attack on the worst forms of poverty. Economic development implies the process of higher level of productivity in all sectors of economy. It is a process of stepping up the rate of capital formation that is needed for rapid economic development. Economic development depends on two sets of factors, economic and non-economic. Two different approaches to economic development have existed side by side. Let us take a quick look at the economic factors. In the theory of economic development, two main approaches to the concept of economic development are 1. Traditional approach and 2. Growing economy approach. Traditional approach. Traditional approaches to economic development policies have been developed from the perspective of what was necessary to attract and keep businesses in local communities. This approach defines development strictly in economic terms. Before 1970s, economic development was regarded as an increase in real national product of country over a long period of time. A long-run expansion in production was to be achieved by rapid industrialization of the country at the expense of agriculture and rural development. The growth development at that time mainly meant the growth of material production. Traditional approach thus implies sustained annual increase in GNP, that is, Gross National Product, or GDP, that is, Gross Domestic Product, at rates varying between 5 to 7% or more. Now, let us take a quick look at growing economy approach. Growing economy approach. This approach defines development including improvements in material welfare, especially for persons with lowest income, and eradication of mass poverty with the availability of resources and their distribution. Thus, in growing economy approach, human beings are at the center of economic development. Non-economic factors. Let us understand what are non-economic factors. All factors in a country have particular economic impacts. The non-economic factors present in a society are the elements which have no direct effect upon the economy of the country. Such factors are a variety of social features. Religion, ethnicity, and social activity, for instance. Similarly, political elements which do not include economy-related activities also have no direct economic impact and can be classified as non-economic factors. Underdevelopment. It is necessary to understand the term underdevelopment while understanding the concept of economic development. Underdevelopment takes place when resources are not used to their full socio-economic potential. Thus, it results that local or regional development, which is slower in most cases than it should be. According to the Planning Commission, underdeveloped country is one which is characterized by coexistence of unutilized and underutilized manpower and unexploited natural resources. Of these underdeveloped economies, countries which show the tendency of high growth rate are called developing economies. To summarize, economic development is the development of economic wealth of countries or regions for the well-being of their inhabitants. It is a process of stepping up the rate of capital formation that is needed for rapid economic development.